Hello there. Just want to okay. So you may hear some background noise. I'm not sure. Light some incense. I'm going to do a couple of things as I'm just finishing to set up. I don't know if you'll like when the incense kind of wafts across the screen. It kind of looks pretty neat, I think. And the wind might be blowing a different way tonight. Let's see. Oops, I don't like this. All right. Hello. Hello. Gosh. See, does that help? Maybe it's coming now. Okay. So we may get some of that. It's kind of like that for the ambiance. It's purely just this kind of scene. Makes me feel like I'm setting the scene and, kind of having that mystical effect going. But it will just depend how the wind is blowing and when it does. But there is coming across. You're not really seeing it too much. I think they're just doing with it. It's a little bit cool too. So anyway, is that gonna help? It's really interesting. Usually it'll wave this way. Let me try something else. So hello, whoever you are. It is very good to be able to do this. Tonight, I'm going to channel a little bit about what. Let's see if that kind of the angels. So information about fear and the emotion of fear. And also I was going to talk from 3 sources about fear and pull some cards on our empowerment, our, what would I call it? I made a note. Empowerment, our freedom, our love, joy is, so love, joy, empowerment, appreciation, freedom. All those are very high frequencies. And love is the most powerful frequency we can harness, and to grow into, to evolve, to just be love and see things as unconditional love. And in the vanquishing of darkness, evil, shadow, it is about still with unconditional love, that frequency. It is not a frequency of triumph over or a victory over something that seems so out of place, where our ego then is not let go, it's a return. And this is what we want to, and what we are giving an opportunity to expand and become more of the divinity. We've talked about our iconically, and yet most of our training in every religion is to keep those icons outside of self, rather than the not only aspiration to be them, but that feeling that they are aspects of us. They are aspects of us, we are aspects of them, and we are all together learning and growing and shaping, reshaping, becoming, expanding, becoming more powerful in wisdom in all areas, that which would be virtuous, noble, light, transparency, kindness, just because we are, and we are eternal. So on the on the fear or the theme of fear, I had, so mostly I'm doing this because it's come up a lot. Tarot by Janine has talked about how truthers were talking about CERN, or they're talking about, this old information. CERN is not. We have the technology of time-space travel, of leaping into and going through portals and vortexes and becoming and being somewhere else. But that is not in control in terms of an evil state where our world will be taken over, or we will be taken over and we will disappear. So that is old news. But people were talking that. So that fear was coming up. And quite frankly, long ago, on many channels, even good-hearted people were talking about, for example, the V and its radiation and the side effects of some experiences, all kinds of human ailment and problems that and sterility in both sexes by the pure and those who have had this, had the V, because of what was placed in the most notorious injections. Okay, so people in the past, there's just been this fear element. And then recently on Tarot by Janine, and I do like these people. I don't follow them all the time. I like some of the things they bring up, but a lot of times as they start to talk, not only do I have my own slant, I can feel the energy of what they're going to say next. And it's usually something I already know. So that's why I don't turn into the programs all the time. And it's not that they're not uplifting to people, they are. But again, for a lot of the truth community, every time they post it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever channels there are, there's always this bring up, oh, we're going to get taken down by not mentioning this or mentioning this word or mentioning these people. So we have to be careful. Now, they have created their own getting blocked. I just choose to talk about what I want to talk about and let it come out how it comes out. And that's just that, because this is about sharing, being truly transparent, and not only educational and not only entertainment, but to bring some wisdom, to bring some bird's eye view in my experience and what's going on with me to you, to share, to ponder, and to kind of see through, because I feel like some of these very famous people, they're dealing with their own ego, even though it wouldn't seem like it. But to keep saying every single, excuse me, motherfucking episode, can't say this word, can't talk like that, got to show this word via some editing. When you say that over and over, you are attracting that very thing you don't want, the very thing they say they don't want, and they're supposedly teaching you. You can't keep doing that. You got to get shut down, and maybe you get shut down for different reasons anyway, because who knows? I haven't channeled that. It's just when we're speaking, creating our lives, it's always the news story. If you followed any one of the big name truthers, they don't have to mention every single episode 1 to 3 times in a week, or 4 times in a week, or however many times they interview people, that we can't say this. It's enough that you followed them already several times. You basically get the gist what they're doing. They don't need to keep talking like that, but they do. So they get what they get. Me too. I get what I get. You get what you get by default and on purpose. It's energy, it's frequency, vibration. It's who we are. It's how we are going to be embracing, learning, being our power, mastering ourselves into our mastery, mastering ourselves into our mastery. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about and channel, fear, and us actually either partnering with it, understanding it, letting it go, the understanding that it need not it be a history explanation, a history lesson. And I think Paul Selig even speaks to more of that than I did in setting up this for this evening. But I'm going to pull back my mail. And so, oops, did it open? Okay. So what I wrote tonight was, it's going to be, fear, that I'm going to channel a little bit on this. The fear is channeled on behalf of your understanding that fear corrupts, a loss of power if you bend to the fear. If you are willing, harnessing this energy as opportunity, and as we grow, and it's a history, it's an opportunity that will plug you, and only meant to plug you back into empowerment. It's not to deny feelings. You make feelings part of that moment, yet you are firm that the fear, invisible or made manifest, is but temporary. I was going to say about that fear that you, there was a good word for that. It's not to deny. It's transitory, and it's illusionary, because you are so powerful. It will not hold you to the spot it wants to hold you. It will not take you down a path where your trajectory is split. So as you add the more, if you hold to your power and you don't unplug, you are left. You all being, all powerful, multidimensional being. So there is no fear. And fear infects, fear decays, fear corrupts. You are the master and mistress of your vessel. We're divinity, we're angelics, we're elementals, we're galactics, we're so much more beingness, having this human body. At this time, if you're listening to me, most of you are in what looks like a human body. So you're not the fear unless you let it. And what I started to get, even before actually channeling and sort of, you know, blessing my chakras and doing a mantra and everything, I calling in who I wanted to work with, like especially Archangel Michael, would say Jermaine, and Yeshua, like they're the top three. But I called in, so many of the iconic characters that I so aspire to learn from and be there, while it may be in the shadow of their knowledge and their wisdom, to be those aspects, all the archangels and the highest elementals and galactics and the goddess mothers, and the different iconic masters. I so love calling in. Even I love the violet tower, the violet flame, and usually sometimes I'll call upon the red dragon to help assist me transmute something that's really difficult for me to the golden portals, when that fear, that entity, that invisible amorphous feeling junk being can go to the golden portal to be transmuted, not ever return, not to harm itself, no one. It can never come back. But I started to write a little bit about the fear. I wrote it on a page, and it was coming to me and I'm going to, channel now. But so what I feel like is in our new time on earth, and what has been an old time on earth, is much that like comes up in movies, that there were initiation schools. And we sort of have a little bit of that glint of a flavor of this, when people are interns in jobs where they say they feel impassioned. But in these initiation schools, this would happen when, most of the time, when we are very young, but it could happen at any age. But there's an education, there's a hands-on, there's a talk repeated, there's a powerful bonding, there's a balance, and we learn in harmony to use your power, use the forces of nature and in the universe to your benefit, and not fear it, not to play these powers from ego, but you learn the mastery of that balance of light and dark, yin and yang, um, goodness and dark. You learn how you are so powerful that you do not turn on its dark side, because the dark side, think of the dark side as like a Dorian Gray um, painting, where it may look beautiful, but actually inside it's rotting. And when the revelation finally is there, the fear and the shadow and the evil corrupt the cells, corrupt the body, corrupt the environment. And now that we're going into crystalline energy, we are going to know from each other the true intent. We're going to feel if there's, malevolent, out of control, either entity attachment or us as, not having aligned with a power of goodness, grace, and virtue. I'm going to feel that because the crystalline energy would then decay and look like Dorian Gray. And that's how we're going to know people who are needed in prominent positions, emissaries, dignitaries, way showers, light workers, titled people who help rule and assist, whatever that would be called. It could be called politics. I don't know that it would be called politics. Federations of nations, however these titled people and assistants will step up, we're going to feel energy fields. We're going to feel energy fields on our own, and we're going to feel energy fields through a similar type of situation like a tricorder. We're going to know if there is a detection of corruption, and it's not going to be allowed. It's not going to be a thing of passing the buck and doing things for money in a corrupt way. All systems are falling as they are. So, and I sort of talked about that. And so it's really that the corruption, the fear distresses cells. It's kind of like, how some people talk about they go through something that's very challenging, worrisome, maybe even awful. And for a time, it would almost seem their body, their face, their skin, there's, maybe eruptions, or they feel ugly, and maybe they even look extra stressed until the time such passes, that their cells are renewed, their minds are more at peace, their hearts are feeling freer again. They've rested, they've perhaps gone on vacation, they've, perhaps buried the beloved, or they've gone through their tragedy and upsetness, and then there's sort of the recalibration that happens, and then they look more light-filled, alive, sweet, happy, calm again. So this is going to happen in a big way for us. It's not going to be any more being able to hide out for the most part. It's not going to be allowed because the planet is changing too. We're honoring the planet's aliveness and growth and wanting the sweetness of harmony, balance. We want the creation of people everywhere to be at ease. So, let's see. Let me just start channeling more so I can read better, because I think I've pretty much mentioned everything that started to come before I actually channel. But surrounded in the light of the Christ, with rose gold flame, violet flame, and I'm gonna just draw a little symbol of the Ankh on my page. So I was just really feeling that resonance. And most of you know what the Ankh looks like. It's almost like it's an ancient Egyptian cross of eternal life. So I just drew a sort of a loose rendering of that. Okay, let's see. So, what can you help us with putting fear to rest? Help us know about our power and this thing that is fear. Fear has come by way, there's several things that are going on by way of, it's like seeing karma, old beliefs, misconstrued energy, and evolution that was misguided on purpose, yet now timely fits back in all evolutionary learning. Fear must not rule your day. Fear was used as control mechanism for the saying peasants. For peasants, lower bodies. Fear was never intended by higher mind. This was introduced as those in power fed ego and hid the truth of empowerment. I'm going to stop there for right now. I want to read you something else that I've also put in the description. In the description, I didn't put in Syrian Star Oracle at gmail.com, and I didn't put in, support the channel if you like, and, contact me for a personal reading, personal session, stuff like that. But you can, if you want to, when you call to. Excuse me, sometimes I put my phone number in, sometimes I don't, but certainly Syrian Star Oracle at gmail.com. Excuse me. Okay, so I want to get out of that, and I want to read you something my friend forwarded from Paul Selig. So his offer in his book of freedom is, when humanity is transitioning, one and all, to a new level of being, the cauterization of fear must be understood as a requirement. So the cauterization, the burning out, the letting go of sort of not choosing fear as an option. Like when we look back, it's a history. It's not a requirement of having it now and always. So it must be understood. So the cauterization of fear must be understood as a requirement. To cut yourself off from fear only means that you do not rely upon it to serve you or protect you. Instead, you rely upon truth and divinity, the light that you are, to illuminate the darkness and show you the right way forward. And that is really even nicer than I think even some of what I was getting earlier writing on Facebook. It's really quite a high road. And it just certainly means that because you see, we are truth, we are divinity, we are the spark of creation, we are so powerful, potent, and lovely. It doesn't matter like the size of us at this moment, the age of us at this moment. That doesn't matter. From seedling, baby, to hundreds of years old or 90, it doesn't matter your age. It matters your light. And that we're trusting our instrument. Like when I'm channeling, I'm just channeling like that information, those words just came out. Wasn't completely how I talk. But it makes sense, doesn't it? If you go back and listen to what I said, I think that was like in the last, between 19 minutes and 22 minutes there. So it was just very much, saying how it's a little bit like some of the saying that we go through is, you have to go through awful to know how good things and appreciate what you have. Well, I think we'll go to a place where we're in such appreciation of the life that we are and the beingness that we are and the infinite mind that we come from, that there's not this like, I gotta have a car wreck to appreciate that I have good health, or I have to have my lovers leave me and take everything to know that I can rebuild again in positivity, or I need to be demeaned by my social group, by my workforce, my employer, in order to take my bed and walk and know that I'm powerful. Those are examples in but one way. And I think that as we're now choosing to evolve and bring the planet and rise with the planet and meet our galactic future and our our cousins, our invisible angelics, our helpers, our cousins, our way showers who are in physical form or not, our galactic heritage, our interplanetary, truly interplanetary travel, like taking a Doctor Who elevator, boom, 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 we're there, or going through a Stargate and we're just there, or having timekeepers, wisdom keepers, use a type of device like a CERN, and we're there where we want to be, millennium of planets of depths of space, but we're in other timelines or time zones in a way to meet, understand, create relationship. Okay, some of what I'm saying, I am not even going to remember. I'm just like kind of getting everything out. And there was something else that really came to me about this. It will come back. It was rather kind of important, I thought, to as a capper to all of this. So maybe it will also come forward again, or I may have to type it later in. But it's just that I felt a long time ago we don't necessarily have to, but because having these horrible things or uncomfortable things or sad things happen to us keeps a victim modality alive. And oh, we don't need to do that. Plus, in these new systems, in this now, the age of Aquarius, and forgive me, all you great tarot readers out there, blah, 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 the fucking Wheel of Karma is no more. The fucking Wheel of Karma was created in the tarot, and just like the Bible is missing passages of empowerment, that was thrown in so we could feel justified to say, well, they will get the just desserts for hurting me, or the Wheel of Karma has turned, and it's my turn now to reap rewards, or be this or be that. No. The Wheel of Karma is a limitation. Karma is a limitation, and we don't really understand karma. Karma was actually means something else, and forgive me, and I'm lost at the moment for what that really is. I have to go look it up, and I don't want to shift, but Bashar, the channeler, he'll even talk about it. So look for him, bashar.org. But I've always felt, even before the Wheel of Karma never made sense to me. If there is infinite God and infinite goodness, and we are powerful creators, and we manifest our lives, like certainly, sure, my life has had backs and forths and ups and downs, but maybe who I am to this day to bring this to you. And that's why I am full transparency. I want to be. I mean, certainly there are things that no, I do not wish to discuss. They are old me. They were part of me. But yet, at the same time, in this nowness, I'm not here to just share myself when I'm in a great mood. I'm here to share myself so that you can learn from me, and I might be a mirror to your expansion, goodness, greatness in every way, all timeline, space, and dimensions, because you are powered by the stars. You are the spark of creation. You are God, goddess on earth. You deserve the very best, whether it's $40 million, $1 million, or just that way that stuff comes to you like that, because you have magnetized it to you because you deserve it. It serves you. It serves you in a way to keep your life balanced, calm, happy, fine, and moving forward so that you can exponentially share your happiness and radiance with all of the beings and all timeline, space, dimensions that you're showing up. Shift someone else's energy into more brightness. What a thought. And it's true. So, okay, so that was in Paul Selleck. And then I want to read you one of, which I do like this from, and you don't have to, you can shift words or see if this resonates with you. But again, from the movie Dune and from the writing of Frank Herbert, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone will be nothing. Only that will remain. Because you see, on a vibrational scale, fear is down here. And we are love from love, and love is up here. Such a big gap. So when things are happening to us, if we can start to train ourselves to say, okay, this is happening. Okay, I feel this. But I know I am more than this. I am more than this. going to call upon allies to help me. I'm going to be where solution is. I feel this distress, and yet I know if I can but breathe through this, there is solution. There is help. There are answers. I am not alone. I am not the first one to ever have felt like this, gone through this. And if I am the first one, then I will blaze a trail so others can follow and be uplifted. I will breathe, and I will know that I am more than this lower vibrational feeling, which I will not ride that. I will be above that. I will let it pass through me. I will let it go through me. And when I look at fear, where I look at that path where it has gone, it is nothing. I am the more. I am here. So I want to see if anything else will come through about Archangel Michael. Lord Saint Germain. Yes. Anything else you want to tell me about fear? Fear is not your enemy. Fear is but one expression. It is not for your liking to like be like it, like emulate. It has been for a kind of remembering the best of who you are, where you came from, what your potential is. Yet, it is not the ruler. Only if you're taught it, only if you're led it, only if you keep it. So be at peace. Remember love. That's what you are. It's what you came here to be, and your power resides in the frequency of love. Fear is amazing. Yes, don't, this is part of me now. Yes, you can see it and feel it. Yes, it manifests. But these are thoughts or things. And when those circumstances happen, it's still about your mastery and empowerment. And to still know that the stuff that you're in or the muck that came up, while it seems to be part of you and in it, you can still observe and breathe and say, okay. And sometimes whatever is happening, you don't have to solve right that second. You need to like observe and breathe and let it pass through. And solution is there. Solution is there. You are more. You are more than any one emotion, though the emotion of love is the foundation, the basis, the truth of where you come from. And that's why you are the vibration of power, the power of love, and the manifester of all that you wish. Okay, so I pulled, which way to put the card? Just for a theme. This was the 3 of fire, mind, body, spirit, paying attention to things in threes. I wish you could see that lady's face much better. It's so much cute. I don't know if this is going to show that well. I think it shows up better on Facebook. Right? And fire is a cleanser, a destroyer, a light bearer, warmth and cozy. It lights the way. It can create calm and peace. It burns away new beginnings. It burns away to rise from and become more. It's many things, and ultimately it can be very creative. It can represent your passions, deep, fiery, bright passions, and paying attention to things that do happen in threes, and paying attention to mind, body, spirit. I know I put more in the description about what number 3 was about for you, so you could explore that. It is manifestation, it's motion, but I would also say to follow inspired action, not forced action, and not that which have others have told you you must do, to really check within, what's really important to you. Let me just see if the oracle cards will um, give us some insight. I'm just kind of curious for a couple of oracle cards. Fear. How do we treat fear? What are some of the iconic cards sharing with us about this knowledge and mastery over fear? And really about these, these initiation schools I started to bring up, that we will start to take children, and in their schooling, it is about their mastery of clairvoyance. It is about knowing how to move with energies in their space. And it's really where we'll end up being as adults too. We'll be a little bit like in the movie, if you wish, the Beni Gesserit, an ancient class. And yes, they had some things going on. They certainly wanted to rule, and they wanted to be over, part of power. And there's more of that too revealed in Dune. I think it even talked about how they wanted people to depend upon the spice, kind of wanted people's addictions and divisions. And yet the most powerful and the most virtuous helped shift planetary tides, so that nobility and truth took over, and that harm and decadence, evil was stopped. So, but it'd be a very interesting book to reread. So, how the guides, or what iconic cards show up to help us perhaps complement this idea that fear need to not even be part of our emotional scale, and how we can just remember this, and that really it's not about that you have to have all these horrible things or fearful things happen to teach you your mastery. I like feeling good, better, best. So the lowest of days might be good, and then there's always better, and then there's always best, but it's good, better, best, good, better, best. Not, oh, it's so awful. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm a victim. No, good, solid, foundation, better, best. So, seeing if any of these cards jump out. Nothing yet. Wants to come. So we'll see. Oh. Two. Anything? Oh, this one. So, how did I do this? I don't know which the order was now. This was the last one. So, this is how I think it went. So, how are the cards messaging fear and our power, and that we don't need it, and our evolution? I just see. So the first card I got is remove the mask of your everyday persona, which is the number 5, which is about, mind, body, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, learning easily in 5s and 5 days, 5 weekdays. Remove the mask of your everyday persona. That we don't need a mask for our everyday persona. We don't need masks. We don't need masks. Our truth, our radiance, the energy is going to be felt. In this picture, as I've mentioned before, I feel like she was rescued. She was rescued from the underworld to be with her brother, to be with her tribe, and yet Something's missing. So we're going to know that. We're going to know ourselves deeply. She may even said, brother, I need to go back. I need to stay. Um, and they were inseparable, and the brother was missing her. He was in fear. And together they did leave the underworld. But look, her fear that she didn't want to stay, that she feared maybe she needed to be with her tribe, and yet she was changed. She was changed by living in the underworld. So there's a little bit of this now adjustment as she takes a look at herself and takes a look at her own fear and what was going on. So we need not have a mask, not anymore. We need not operate on that level of mask. We need to be true to who we are. Now, let's do love. Let me love you by Hallmark standards. And for those of you who don't know what Hallmark is, Hallmark in terms of the famous card line where you send a card for every occasion, and that will, epitomize your love. Or we send cards basically out of obligation most of the time. Maybe 50% of the time we don't. Maybe we truly do have, of course, to send cards and help people into feeling good and acknowledge who they are. But a lot of times people give cards in place of their true feelings. So it's like remove the mask of your everyday persona. You, by your own word, by your own thoughts, you help uplift others. Deep memories are stirring. Well, during this time they are. Deep memories are stirring. Some of us are afraid of what is to come, which is only goodness and greatness, but some of us don't know. And that is an 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's number 2, balance, yin, yang, light, dark, male, female. 2, speaking to, calling in your angels. It's 2. What else am I missing with the 2s? This will have a nice energy of collaboration. You're not alone in the universe, right? It's a number of optimism, resonates with peace and flexibility, diplomacy, and adaptability. It's also a sacred site here, reminding us that, well, there are many sacred sites. You can have a home altar. Your own temple is a sacred site. And this is Arthur. So he's basically at a sacred site, going through whatever his initiation was at the time. He was in, one of my cards has him in also a different place before he received his crown, where he faced his shadow, where he faced his fear. And in facing his fears and letting it pass, and passing his initiation, he emerged. He saw his fear go by. He was able to be crowned. He crowned himself. He was king. You hold in your heart space to be filled. This is number 8. So the flow, the infinite connection of everlasting universal intelligence. Number 8, money number, flow, floodgates, movement, prosperity. Number 8. Sign of success, empower yourself, boost your self-confidence. Infinity symbol, prosperity, abundance. A woman is emerging from the cage and a cave. But maybe some of us have been in literal emotional cages, right? With this pandemic, we have felt sometimes our emotions not volatile or unable to express. But this is coming out of a darkness and facing. So she's full bosomed. She has lots of nurturing and care to give. And out of this darkness, out of leaving fear behind, she will have a fuller life. She will be stepping into more, not only nurturing for others, but her own nurturing. She has in her heart the space to be filled, to embrace more. So let's try to look at fear And I think, as I was saying, like fear as a friend or fear as history, but either way, it need not be a template that is kept for us to measure growth, for us to measure our new empowerment, for us to measure anything. In fact, I feel fear will not be taught or allowed as a kind of register on our emotional scale of our validity. It will be, to honor our feelings, but not kept so that, I'm really afraid, I'm really afraid, I'm really afraid. This, you get into victim mode with that, and there's a loss of power. And this time is all about the love that you are and empowerment. It is all about you. You are loved. You. You are powered by the stars. You're a spark of creation. And the spark of creation does not fear. The spark of creation ignites, expands, um, exponentially draws, radiates. So, no, I think that's probably pretty good for tonight. It's, basically, I don't think I need to go on and on about fear. It's just that it's come up recently because we're such at that crux of, got the Georgia Guidestones are down. A couple of years ago, what was it? Notre Dame was on fire. Um, you don't hear too much about the Vatican because the Vatican is no more. Lots of systems are down, and it may take us a little bit of figuring out how we rebuild in terms of anything that was a template, anything that was a foundation of, it's going to be totally different. Because those old foundations had the seeds of evil in them, in the shadow, and we can't have that anymore. So that's why I say it is us that we are going to read each other's energy. And for those that don't feel like that's a big part of what they do, it's still going to be known. It's going to be as simple as how we find water bottled in stores of all varieties. It's just going to be no more a ha ha coffee table conversation. It's just part of us. Love is part of us. It is us. The mastery of us levitating or drawing in or flying spacecraft due to our own DNA and thoughts and crystals, that is it. We're not going to be slicing people over to operate and get a disease out. It, that's going to be an old history type of way. Pretty much just like some shamans can do and light workers do, the energy that we send will draw out. And some shamans for show. And one book that, like Shirley MacLaine wrote, shaman reached in the body and pulled out the disease. And in a show, he allowed that illusion to happen so people could see and know that disease need not rule the day, fear need not rule the day. So that was that particular shaman's gift, if you will, or skill as worker. He could do that. And it's interesting, right? Just briefly, John of God, when he was around, he wasn't a surgeon, but he channeled and he removed disease, entities, and parts of stuff that people didn't belong. And they needed to see it, so he showed it. And interestingly enough, he was still part of a mask of a big problem that we're getting a handle on in terms of child trafficking and pedophilia and, out of control, abhorred behavior to the dignity and respect of the divine that we've come from. And again, a great mirror to launch us into where we would like to be in our virtue, nobility, and grace. So I think I will end this there. I wish this was helpful to you in terms of taking a look at fear and its role in your mastery and your empowerment. And, that you will take a look at emotions differently. That, yes, we're to feel, we're nothing but feeling sponges, we're a big sponge, but our energy field is more than just it. It's just more. We are more than what we look like. We're more than what we were told. And fear, if an ally, fantastic, let it go through, pass through. And when you do turn your wisdom toward what has been or felt, it won't be the same. You will remain steadfast, strong, sturdy in your power, in your love, in your gratitude, in your appreciation, in your knowingness, in your beingness, in the experience of. And that soon fear need be not part of any wheel, nor part of any system that happens. Do this or this will happen. Do this or you can't have it. It won't be, because that is bullying. That is an old system. That is victimhood. That is an old system. That is corruption and deceit. That is an old system. That is enslavement. That is an old system. You are free. Let bondage go. Choose. Choose. Stay bright. Stand tall. You are powered by the stars. We are the spark of creation. And my little coyote heart does love you. Let me know how you are, and I hope to hear from you. I'm available.